How's it going? Ryan here, and today I'm going to review a single trade that I took on SPY. Um, what went right, what went wrong, and the outcome. It was a slight winner. I didn't execute super well, so I missed out, and we'll dive into why that is. First of all, though, some levels that I have pretty simple. From the daily time frame, we have 444 and 445. Big areas of 444 was big area of resistance. Once we busted above it, we found some support. Now that we're below it, it's a big area of resistance again. Same thing with 445. There's a big support once we gapped up. Big support, then we broke below it. We have this 442.2 that came from the hourly time frame. We'll look at that. And then we have 437.48 down here. As you can see, acted as quite a bit of resistance before we broke out of that range as well, and then found it as support a couple times once we did. With that being said, though, we can hop into a lower time frame. The 442.2 was off this hourly time frame, and it was looking at some of this price action. Support and resistance, a lot of activity in that area. You can see also in here, so on previous days. So that level came from the hourly time frame, just an area that we'd either rejected off of or bounced off of, throughout multiple trading sessions within the past couple weeks. So a relevant level that I thought. So those are what I was looking at. We also have, I guess I miscolored that. But we have the high of yesterday's trading session and the low of yesterday's trading session. Both are red. Usually I distinguish the high with a green line and the low with a red line, but looks like I made them the same this time. Then we also have kind of this area of supply that was up here. You can see we rejected 3 times yesterday's trading session before falling. So that was an area of supply if we were to reach up into that area. Similar with this box here. As we rallied up, we found a lot of supply in this area. You could potentially count this sell-off as reaching the bottom of that supply zone. So that's where those came from. Then we have the yellow lines, which are pre-market low, pre-market high. And finally, we have these trend lines. In the pre-market, we were kind of in this upwards channel. You can see we found support multiple times along the bottom, resistance multiple times along the top. And as we opened, one thing that I was watching was a break of this trend and or a rejection off of the pre-market high. And we got both. So right off the open, we rejected off the pre-market high, sold off and sold below the trend, breaking the trend on the 5-minute chart and closing below it. On the following candle, we pushed up, and that is where I took my one trade. I took puts right at the retest of that broken support. And my target was to be this 440.3 slash 440.5, just in this range. Once we hit there, I was going to take it. I was a little hesitant to hold super long because we were trading within yesterday's range. We did have some data coming out later in the morning, so I figured that the first few minutes could be a little choppy. So that being said, though, the identification of the trade and the entry on the trade were both pretty solid. Where I went wrong is I didn't identify and accept a particular risk. So I knew what target I was looking for profit. I knew what I was looking for to enter the trade, where I wanted to enter the trade. But in terms of my stop loss, I hadn't set it. It was more of a mental stop loss in terms of, depending on the outcome. And I think that is where I went wrong, because I didn't actually determine where that mental stop loss would be or what would, constitute me getting out of this trade. And so you can see we broke through, retested, sold off a little bit. On this candle, it started off as really, really low volume. And we just kept creeping up and kind of failing to break lower. Eventually started pushing up into this area. And I didn't like what I was seeing from price action. I didn't like what I was seeing from volume, not supporting the move down. And so I just cut my position. I took a very small win and just got out. we pushed up and retested this area. So had I had a firm stop loss, we potentially maybe would have hit it there. But that's the thing, is I didn't identify it clearly, and that was my mistake. If I had an identified clear stop loss, then I believe I could have let this trade play out, where I either got stopped out or hit my target. This trade did hit my target, so that's kind of the moral of the story. Just didn't execute super well, didn't have a predefined loss, so I was more keen or more prone to emotional reaction and cutting of my contract, because frankly I've had a few green days now. I think I was worried about taking a loss, so that's the only really justification I have, and it's just bad execution. So that's the lesson. I needed to predefine my risk and stick to it. It did hit my target. That would have worked out. Then the rest of the morning we did this beautiful price action in here. I did not trade anything in here. It was pretty gross and choppy. But from the rest of the day on, you can see how some of these levels reacted. So the red is low of yesterday's trading session. This is the low of the pre-market. This was a level off of the daily chart. This is a 440. This is a level off the daily chart as well. Excuse me. They're not perfect. You can see we cleared above this by 20 cents or so multiple times before rejecting. So a better level, according to today's price action, would be somewhere up in here. Regardless, we somewhere in there. Regardless, the price action did move pretty much level to level, finding support here multiple times, breaking above, finding support at the pre-market low. So you can see how it reacted. There are plenty of trades to take. It seems the majority of these big sell-offs are coming in the evening when I'm not trading, or not evening, but I guess afternoon towards the end of the trading session, which is kind of a bummer. I'm trading this price action, and then as soon as I get off, we get this. So. Or like today, my price action looked like that. There's definitely trades to take. Not to say that what I had didn't work. I fumbled that, so that's nobody's mistake but mine. But a nice downtrend like that, just some real. I would have loved to catch that. But there's always opportunity tomorrow. But that was my single trade. Very small win. Poor execution on my part. Came out of it green, but it's kind of a moot point. That being said, I stream live every Monday through Friday. Feel free to come jump in. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a good day. Peace.